luck is rubbish. There's nothing like luck. A city like Mumbai has a lot of water energy. So clutter tends to hold you back. It creates a sense of chaos. It's like you have a Mercedes, but you're driving it at the speed of 30.
How has it played out in your life?
So I've grown up with this science. I have experienced the results of the science. The idea is that the salt absorbs all the negativity and leaves the body. Just like there's global warming, there's geopathic stress has increased on the planet
So
for
when
life.
people say that, they can feel a presence or a spirit, it's not like psychosomatic. They're not exaggerating. It
No,
is
they are
true.
not.
Hi, Kanika. Welcome to
Hi.
BCD. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that you could take time out to chat with us today. So, for our viewers who are listening in and watching us, Kanika is a very famous Feng Shui and Vastu expert, and she's going to guide us today. And we're going to discuss different facets of Feng Shui and Vastu. So, Kanika, first of all, there's a lot of confusion when it comes to terms like Vastu and Feng Shui. People tend to assume both are the same. They get very confused. So can you simplify the difference between the two forms for us?
100%. So, Vastu and Feng Shui are again different sciences. Vastu, to begin with, is a Vedic science written over 10,000 years back. Okay, so it's a very old science. It is not refined for today's types of structures. Okay, but people still don't get that and they still say, oh, we're doing Vastu. But Vastu is only used for ground floor structures with a very lightweight roof, which today you don't find. Even today you have all multi-story structures. Uh, because back then steel beams weren't invented, slabs weren't invented, structures of this time weren't there back in the day. So they applied Vastu, and Vastu is excellent and very, very useful for those types of structures. Today, even your villas and bungalows have slab. Okay, one of the main criterias of Vastu is how much weight you put in a certain area. If you know the basics also, it says northeast should be light, empty, southwest should be your bedroom, etc., which is useless because today there's so much weight on your head already, which if you cut open that slab, 1,000 people will not be able to lift the weight that is there already. So one of the main criteria of Vastu is useless for today's types of structures. So what actually works and what I actually practice, of course I do both, but what actually works is Feng Shui. Now, in Feng Shui, also there are different schools or different levels. Okay, so the most basic is symbolic level, wherein you've heard of laughing Buddhas, wind chimes, the products. That's
Yeah,
what
right.
symbolic Feng Shui is. But that's again, I would say 10% of the science. Again, that helps a layman to follow it. If you don't understand too much, you just want to improve certain aspects of your life, use symbolic Feng Shui, you will 100% see an improvement. But for a miraculous shift, or if you're looking at a change in any and every aspect of your life, be it health, be it wealth, be it harmony, and you're seeking a real difference, you need to take up the highest level of Feng Shui, which is what I practice, which is flying star Feng Shui. So
Flying
in
star Feng Shui. Okay.
Correct. Okay, so in that, again, in a nutshell, what we do is I make the horoscope of a place, of a particular property. Okay, like your horoscope is made based on when and where you're born. Similarly, for every house, every office, there's a different horoscope. Vastu is generic. Okay, one principle for
For
all
everyone. Yeah.
houses and offices. Feng Shui doesn't say that. Like each person is different, every house, every property is different and has to be treated that way. So when I make the horoscope, I take into account the year of construction of that particular structure, the first occupancy in the structure, and the facing direction. Okay. Once I get this data, I make the horoscope, which is the flying star Feng Shui chart for your particular, house, office, whatever property it is. Then I interpret that chart. By interpretation, I mean, there are ticks and crosses on that particular chart to make it easier for you as a client to understand what area works for you, what doesn't. Okay, so in your particular house, for example, if south is the best area, then we set up your house or your property based on that flying star Feng Shui chart.
But
Hmm.
can a home be you're saying that you're talking about ready-made homes, right? Or homes that are already constructed.
No, it doesn't matter. You can use
So
it
you can
for
plan a
anything.
horoscope in advance even before you say
Absolutely.
construct your home. Do people actually
Absolutely.
approach you and say, can you create a horoscope for us, and then we'll build our home accordingly?
Yeah, this is again applicable for villas and bungalows, but for
Okay,
apartments,
right.
on with buildings, we have collaborations with builders wherein we create the structure and
Which is
orient.
feng shui compliant.
Yes. So what it does is it works for the builder as well. It increases his saleability and it works for the client as well, or the occupant in that particular building, because they get a feng shui compliant house. So it's a win-win.
Okay.
It helps you. Yeah.
So, how would you define a feng shui compliant house? What are the elements that are needed for a house to or a place to be defined as feng shui compliant?
So it's not just limited to elements. Okay.
Okay,
Every house, every office is different. Sometimes, like in Feng Shui, water, mountains, they are very powerful. In the
right.
right place, water is called as they're water stars, basically. So if you find water in the right place where I get that water star, it activates the finances and the money energy. But if I find it in the bad location, or if it's in a location where I need the mountain support, it will then be disastrous because it will affect your health and harmony. So, the right features in the right place. Again, for example, a city like Mumbai has a lot of water energy, okay, because we're surrounded by the Arabian Sea. So, people, it's called the financial capital for a reason as well. People are running, they are seeking money. We're all hyper, we're all stressed, we're all running on the clock, and there's a lot of money in the city, but it's at the cost of health and harmony because we're always stressed in comparison to people in the mountains.
So, are you
They,
just what I
hmm,
want to understand is, can the design actually, which is feng shui compliant, have
correct.
an impact on your personal, your health, mental, physical, emotional health?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what happens is when we create a feng shui compliant structure, what do? We improve your luck, we enhance your luck. Now, to begin with, again, let me explain what your luck is. In my opinion, your luck comes from three aspects. Okay, 40% is your earth luck, the luck that comes from your places, your house, your office, etc., your living spaces. The other 40% is your heaven luck, which is your astrological luck, the luck that you are born with. You can't change that. You can't come back with a
Like your
different
karmic luck.
horoscope.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But you can enhance that with the right gemstone. That's also another practice
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
do. The other 20% is your karma. Okay, the deeds that you do and how they impact your life, which have only 20% impact in this lifetime. It has a full 100% impact in multiple
Yeah, but you
lifetimes.
know what? I'm
Hmm.
more interested in the design aspect because
Yeah,
that takes on a philosophical shift.
exactly.
So I want to get back to Vastu. So you said, are people not really using Vastu today? Are you saying that the interest has
So
kind of decreased in Vastu?
no, so people, even for our clients, we're doing
Right.
feng shui, and
Yeah.
I'm practicing both. It's like homeopathy and allopathy. They are
Yeah.
different
Right.
sciences
Yeah.
with different areas of effectiveness.
Yeah.
But for a client, so many times we're only doing feng shui, but they still don't get it. So they are constantly saying, oh, we've just done the vastu. But actually, what we've done is flying star feng shui for them because that's what helps to improve your luck. And the minute your luck is improved, your wishes start getting fulfilled. Okay, so you're obviously wishing the best of health, wealth, harmony for yourself, and that's what happens. But again, it depends on the potential of each property. Okay, some properties may have a potential of, say, 7 out of 10 on an average. So that's good. That's not like a 9 or a 10 on 10, but that's again positive. So it may be a 7 on health and harmony, but maybe a 9 on money, or vice versa. So you'll get those kind of results when we set up the house
So
correctly in terms of design. Yeah,
So what happens when, like some people say, oh, this house has not agreed, like maybe they see losses, they see death, they see
correct.
disaster,
Yeah,
and they say this house is, so is it because it was not Vastu Feng Shui compliant that this has happened?
absolutely.
So what is the energy level in that house? When you say 7 is a good number, so is it what, 2, 3?
It may be 2, 3, or it may have a potential of 9 out of 10, but they
Okay,
have not capitalized on that potential by setting it up correctly. There
okay.
may be an incorrect setup done in that house or that office, which is why they are seeing disasters. But when I come in, if it's a 9 out of 10 property or a 7 as well, I bring it to that 7 with the correctional setup for them. Okay, it's like you have a Mercedes, but you're driving it at the speed of 30. So I come in and I teach you to bring it to that 200 that the car can go. It's the same ideology, okay?
But
But
okay.
sometimes the house may not be good in itself, okay? So there's not much that I can come in and do. In those rare cases, I tell you, you need to look at a shift of house or a move into something else so that you get the benefit.
So when you say that you come in and you tell your clients to make these functional changes,
Right.
does it involve a lot of modification or reconstruction, or do you tell them to work within, the existing
So again,
elements?
this is a misconception that people have that it's going to be
Right.
very expensive, it's going to be
Right.
time consuming, there'll be impractical changes. Well, no. Firstly, it is you have to look at it as an investment for your life. A.
Okay.
B, you need to understand that it's not time consuming because we can play around with the same furniture that you have and just reset it in the correct location for your house. So it can be implemented in one afternoon. It's not that time consuming. You just have to apply it correctly. Again, it's same thing. If you're going to a doctor, you have a problem, okay, you go to the doctor, the GP, he'll give you medicines, he'll prescribe those medicines. You need to have them, right, for that change to
Yeah.
come in. But if you still don't see a change, you go to a specialist,
Right.
right? So it's that same thing. I come in, you have to be open, you have to be honest, you have to tell me your problems. I give you the solution, and then you have to apply that.
So tell me,
Okay,
are
and
there
then
any colors or forms or shapes in the design space that work better?
so it's not general again.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
because when I give you a setup, okay,
Right.
I fine tune your setup to that particular location, taking your date of birth as well, using
Okay.
Feng Shui astrology with your compatibility with that particular location, and based on your Kua number, etc. I fine tune the correct colors for you.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not really general.
So what is a
What
poor
color?
number? I mean,
Huh.
how would you
So I
explain that?
calculate that KUA number based on the year that you're born in, your date of
Okay.
birth. So for
Right.
each person, sometimes, if there are two people, assume a husband, wife sleeping on the bed. Sometimes, just swapping positions would make a world of a difference for the two of them. Okay.
Right.
Sometimes one color may work for somebody. The same color could be detrimental to someone else. So we have to have a balancing color in the middle. So it's again not general. But again, in saying that, I would say, to play it safe for somebody, just use colors like beige, cream, off white,
Neutral
ivory,
colors.
neutral colors, because that works. If you don't understand or you don't have the right knowledge and you're believing half things, I would say don't get into all of this. Just follow one thing and make it simple.
So tell me, can you give us an example of, in current times, maybe a home or an office space or a public space, which is the perfect example of, say, a Vastu or a Feng Shui,
So honestly, there isn't like a perfect space like
or
that, but
something
you
close to it, something which comes to your mind?
see it's how. Okay, now there was this. I'll just give you an example of this one builder who came to my dad. Okay, because my dad's
Okay.
been in the industry and I followed his footsteps. That's how I've come into the profession. So he came to my dad when he was just 19. Okay, he's a very well-renowned builder based in Bombay. He came to dad, and again his family was an entire, like, whole family didn't believe in any of this, but he said, you know what, I want to improve my life. So my dad said, just follow what I'm telling you. He lived in a very tiny space, very humble background. He followed everything to the T, and today he's so big. So it's not that a small space also can give you the kind of luck that maybe a huge house may not.
So
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, see, you like you said, okay, I'm sure a lot of people who come to you
Hmm.
focus on making the changes. But has it ever happened that despite following, whatever guidelines you've laid down, they have
Hmm.
not been able to see luck or success or growth? Has it ever worked like that?
No, no. Because if you
So it's
follow everything to
100%
the T,
guaranteed.
yeah, we don't give any guarantees, to be honest,
Right.
because again, your luck comes from 40% is your earth luck, the
Yeah.
places you live and work
But you've
from. So
never
we
had
are
like a negative experience where someone has
no,
said, oh, it's not worked out.
no. But again, in saying that, my dad was a non-believer. He was somebody who attributed all his success to his hard work, and that, it's hard work and nothing else. Luck is rubbish. There's nothing like luck.
Yeah.
And he was a topper all along in his college, etc. But when he came into the real world and he was working, success didn't come to him. Okay. And then he realized something is amiss. I'm the same guy putting in the same amount of hard work. Why is real success not coming to me? At that time, he realized he had changed houses. So he
Mhm.
understood that there is something, some shift that happened as soon as I changed my house. Then he went and he learned about Vastu. Okay, he started applying Vastu. He took it up as a profession, started applying Vastu to clients and told them, look, I'm an ethical practitioner. Give me your feedback. Okay. So some clients said it's been great. Some said it's been worse than before. Now that's not nice for a practitioner to hear. That's when he realized something is amiss with Vastu as a science as well. It's not foolproof. Then he went to the Orient, he learned about Feng Shui, started applying Feng Shui to houses, and then realized that, okay, you know what? In today's types of structures, what works and what is miraculous is flying star Feng Shui and it is not Vastu. Again, an example, we have created a health retreat of sorts in Lonavala, if you know, it's very close to
Yeah,
Bombay.
yeah, yeah. What is it
Yeah,
called?
it's a health retreat wherein
Okay.
we are taking people on whom medical science has given up. Like say terminally ill patients like cancers, the doctors tell you, okay, you have so many months to live and etc. We're taking those kind of cases. You have to, of course, stay in that particular house because the mountain energy is very strong there. The placement of elements, it's feng shui compliant, it's so powerful on the health front specifically that we're going to cure 5 out of 10 such cases with a money back guarantee. So we believe in it that much and we know that it is so powerful that we can even alter a terminally ill case
Okay.
as
So
well.
moving forward, what are the essential, like, okay, if you don't want to really modify your house or you don't have the time and energy, are there any elements or any things that you should keep in your house just to bring in that luck? Like, laughing
Hmm,
Buddha people normally keep.
hmm,
What do
hmm.
you suggest? Some basic things that people can do at
See,
home.
again, basic tips, like, they are very easy, effective tips. They will give you a change, an improvement in your life.
Yeah.
But again, for that full effect, you need to do a
Yeah,
consult.
yeah. But
But in
yeah,
saying that, some easy tips I would say would be one, again, very underrated tip is saltwater mopping and saltwater baths. Okay,
hot water bath. Okay. I've
baths
heard
and
of
mopping.
rock salt baths. I've heard of that. Is
So
it the
this
same?
is unrefined sea salt. Okay, the
Okay.
crystalline salt. Okay,
Okay.
you take one fist of salt in half a bucket of water, and neck down, you have to have a bath with that salt water, and then
Okay.
take your normal shower. Okay, so that the salt leaves the body. The
Right.
idea is that the salt absorbs all the negativity and leaves the body. Now, this is
Right.
great to do on days, when you're feeling very physically unwell or mentally, drained or upset, or if you've come back from a funeral. Great to do that. Otherwise, just continue once a week lifelong. It is amazing. And saltwater mopping for the house. Same thing, you take unrefined sea salt and mop the entire house with that salt. You can do a normal mopping over it because the salt tends to get a little sticky. Uh, Great to do once a week. Why? Because you are going out, you are meeting people. There are different energies that you're coming in contact with. People are coming into your house. So it's great to do a saltwater mopping. These are two again. People don't understand the power of salt, but this is excellent. One more thing that comes to mind is clutter clearing. Again,
Clutter
very, very,
clearing.
yeah, very, very
Yeah, that I
underrated.
agree. Yeah.
You have that one chair which has a pile of clothes, and the more stressed you are, the chair and the clothes keep increasing. So clutter tends to hold you back. It creates a sense of chaos, and it depletes your energy flow. It blocks the energy from moving correctly. So again, the minute you start clutter clearing, you will realize how lighter you feel.
And how important is it to keep, say, your windows open to allow?
Very important.
Yeah,
Every
a lot of
morning.
people sometimes in modern days, you want to keep out the noise, so people tend to shut their rooms and
No, at least, the minute you wake up,
right.
just open your windows everywhere, at
To
least for a
bring in
couple of
positive
hours.
energy.
Yeah,
Okay.
to let the stale energy leave your house and bring in more energy, ventilation, natural light. So simple, but so underrated. People just don't do it.
But
So,
tell me, so moving forward, how
mhm.
do you think Feng Shui and Vastu are going to play out in the coming years ahead?
So honestly, I have seen a true shift happening wherein,
Okay.
Vastu and Feng Shui is being applied into modern structures. Again, for example, you could take into account biophilic design, wherein you're
Sorry,
taking
bio?
biophilic design.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
wherein you're bringing nature indoors by use of plants, natural light, ventilation, natural elements, water features. This aligns very well with the principles of Vastu and Feng Shui. Okay, so
Right.
architects today are creating structures of stone and wood, so that not only beautifies your space but also creates, this feeling of harmony and more positive energy in the
And
house.
hence also water bodies also, I suppose, a lot of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the right place, water is going to be phenomenal. So again, we use those elements to create structures like that. Again, there's a lot of focus on sustainable and wellness centered designs for the same reason. So it beautifully, complements the principles of Vastu and Feng Shui.
So can you actually use both elements, both sciences in one home or in
No,
one structure? No. So
no, no.
they contradict
See,
each other.
unless no, in certain houses or certain places, if the flying star chart has locations that are, say for example, the southwest is the best in your house, that is the same principle that Vastu applies. That your southwest is the luckiest area, you plan your bedroom in that location, then it coincides with the flying star feng shui chart and you get results. But sometimes it could be contradictory to Vastu principles. Okay, like for example, in your house, it could say the northeast is the luckiest area, whereas Vastu says northeast is not supposed to be your bedroom. You should have your door, you should have your entry from the northeast. So that is contradictory. So you use only one type of science. And what we actually use is again feng shui, because, like I said, it is more used for today's types of structures, unlike Vastu.
So tell me, I'm curious to know how has it played out in your life? In what way has it changed your life? When did you start
So,
using, getting into Feng Shui? How did it
okay.
impact your life? Yeah, I really want to know this.
So basically, like, my dad was in the profession. He's been in this profession over the last 30 years. But for me, that shift, okay, so I've grown up with this science. I've seen, I have experienced the results of the science. But what caused that shift in my life was this one incident I encountered as a child. There was this young couple who came to dad with their 3-year-old daughter, pleading with him, to save their little girl because she was suffering from bone marrow cancer. And she was
Okay.
on the last stage and she was given, say, about 6 months to live. So they were really stressed. And after consulting dad, her cancer was completely gone. She was cured. And that's when I realized, I mean, they could not stop thanking dad, and blessing him. And I realized that it's one thing to make money, to be able to make money, but it's a whole different thing to be able to earn people's blessings. And when I saw them, I saw the gratitude, for my dad. I realized, this is what I want. Even though I was so young, that
How
switch
old were you
happened for
that
me
when you
then.
saw that? How old were you?
I may have been 12, 11 or
Okay.
12.
So
Yeah.
that's when
So
you
I was
figured
very
out that.
young. But yeah, I knew that this is what I'm chasing. This is what I want, that fulfillment of some sort. And for me, that shift happened and I found my calling in this. So
Okay. So did you actually study it under your dad? Can one actually be formally trained in this science?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. But you have to go a lot in depth. You need to have knowledge on drawings. So you need to have
Okay.
a little bit of a background of, say, maybe architecture, design, or, professional drawing because we are working with plans. And
Okay.
second, you need to, of course, train for Feng Shui. It's not that easy because every house, every office is different. Every case is different. So you can, of course, be formally trained. So I
So
learned
are there
again in Singapore.
universities in India that offer these courses, or do you have to go
In
abroad?
India as well, even in fact, we offer courses that are
Okay.
correspondence courses that you can do. We certify
Okay.
them, etc. But I have learned under the best masters in Singapore because this is a Chinese science
Yeah,
technically, so it
absolutely.
comes from there. So there are tremendous amount of
So are
courses, and
these like
then
certified courses?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You get certifications, they have some diploma courses, sometimes now they have degree courses as well. So there's a lot, and it's gained so much global awareness today.
So how is it, like I said, coming back to the question,
Hmm.
can you give me an example of how it changed your life, like maybe brought you more success or improved your health? I want to know how it played out for you personally.
It's played out very well for me because for me, in terms of my relationships, also, I got married 2 years back. I found the right person and I'm
Okay,
settled now in Dubai. It's helped me, to be honest, I'm very lucky that I've not had to face too much in life, which other people may have had to
right.
face.
Okay,
I've not had very serious health issues. Things have been great for me. But even when I was in school, I remember this incident. I was in the seventh grade and up till the sixth grade, I was doing very well. I was always a topper, or I was in my, the distinction grades. Suddenly, in the seventh grade, my, percentage started falling. And I realized again something is going wrong. And I was so young to understand. And, your studies, your exams, that's your life. And if you feel like, oh my God, what is happening here? Again, at that time, there was some disturbance in our house. We had again switched houses, because of which it impacted my life and my luck. And then we rectified that, and again, it was great.
I'm
So
also
I've,
going to ask you
hmm,
this. Some homes have a spooky vibe. You keep
hmm,
reading that,
hmm,
they have a negative energy, like some spirits or whatever.
hmm,
So,
hmm.
does Feng Shui or Vastu help in getting rid of that kind of negative energy?
Yeah, it does. There's another practice that I do, which is called geopathic stress scanning and rectification. So we rectify, again, they're complementary to each other, they are different. Geopathic stress, in a nutshell, is this negative energy that the earth is throwing out in a very heightened form. Okay, today cancers have risen so much is because of the increase in geopathic stress on the planet. It's just like there's global warming, there's geopathic stress has increased on the planet. Sleeping on two geopathic stress lines is called the nodal point, and that's very dangerous. If it happens to be on your stomach, you'll get something related to your stomach. So it has to be rectified. Same way, there's another type of negative energy, which is called as negative infrared energy, which may or may not be there in certain lands. Like geopathic stress is there everywhere, can be rectified. Negative infrared energy may be there, may not be there. If it is found, it may indicate some kind of spirit attachment.
In the house you're talking about.
Yes,
So, how
in
do
the
you
house.
figure that out?
So I have a scanner. We scan using those frequencies and I check within the house. If I find
Okay.
this type of energy, it's not like the movies, you're going to see things, etc.
Yeah.
But it basically feeds off your immunity to survive, causing problems to you in any and every aspect of your
So when
life.
people say that, they can feel a presence or a spirit, it's
Hmm.
not like psychosomatic. They're not exaggerating. It
No,
is
they are
true.
not. It is true.
Okay.
It is true. And we found it in certain houses as well. But you rectify that.
And it
Sometimes
goes
these
away that,
energy, no.
those elements. Oh,
So
okay.
sometimes these energies leave, and in
Okay.
some cases they don't leave because of their attachment to the land. You know,
Okay.
they find it very comfortable and warm to thrive there. So in those cases, you need to leave. So the best thing is, before you move into a space, okay, whether you buy it, rent it, doesn't matter. We check for this kind of negative energy. Okay, we check for the feng shui. It's called an
In the
initial
home.
check
Okay.
in
All
the
right.
home. Now,
Okay.
whether you're using an office space, a home,
Okay.
a
Yeah.
restaurant,
Okay. In
factory,
the
anything
space. Yeah.
in the
Right.
space, we check for the feng shui. If it's great feng shui, okay, if it's 9 out of 10 potentially, but if it has this type of negative infrared energy, I still reject the place. I don't let you move because it's like cancer on the land. Why do you want to go into a space that has this energy?
So you're saying if people want to invest in a new space, office, or it's better that they get, connect with a feng shui consultant before
Absolutely.
investing.
Absolutely. Because even if it's, again, whether you're living in that space or not, even if you take a space for investment purpose, you should
Okay.
look at this so that, if you tomorrow want to sell that space again, it should be easy for you to sell it. This negative infrared energy causes obstacles. So for you to sell it also at a later date would be difficult.
So supposing, say, you have multiple properties,
Hmm.
can the negative energy of one of those properties impact your life in your home, even if you're staying in a different home?
No, no.
Okay.
It's again, I'll give an example for this. It's, say you have a house in Lonavala, assume,
Okay.
okay?
Right. Yeah.
And you've put it on rent, and you
Right.
yourself live in Bombay, right?
Right.
Now, if the person staying there, the occupant of that rental space, tends to dig and he's doing gardening and he finds some gold and diamond, he's not going to come and give it to you,
Right.
even though it's from your space. He's
Yeah.
going to keep it for himself. So whether it is good or bad, it affects the occupants of that space. It doesn't affect you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just great talking to you, Kanika. As a parting shot, is there anything that you would like to tell our viewers?
I just want to say that, people just need to be a little more aware and understand, that there is something more that affects your life. It is not just the hard work you do. It is not just, being good people. There is energy. Understand that, notice that, and be a little more sensitive towards it so you can improve your own life. And that's exactly why I have my Instagram page. It's not for anything else. It is just to impart knowledge, create awareness so that you can just, benefit from the small tips also that I give out.
Thank you so much, Kanika, for taking
Most
the time
welcome.
out to chat with us. It was an interesting conversation.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.